Anji.
What?
You need to do something about adding me there.
I don't know why it is happening like that.
Okay, we are on internet. Okay, JSS Apt Pulinanandji, JSS Deepakanandji. Pulinanandji, can you please recite the mantra?
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vasayanam.
Namo Vasayanam.
Namo Loe Sawa Sahunam.
Namo Loe Sawa Sahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Esto Panchanamukaro.
Avabhava Panasano.
Sarvapava Pranasanu.
Mangalanancha Savvesem.
Mangalam Sarvesi.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Padamam
Havai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Okay, Jai Satchidanand. Okay, the purpose of we started this English satsang, so the new Mahatmas and also the older Mahatmas can get a brush with information on Gyan and Purusha. So with that, I think the best thing, Pulinanandji, what you suggest to do?
The purpose of this group was new Mahatmas who have taken up Gyan. Started with American, but it's available for everybody in India also. And you have added many people, so let us see how the response is. આમાં બી જાણવું પડશે થોડુંક આપણે થોડુંક કે લોકોને ટાઈમનો ઇશ્યુ છે કે નહીં.
Correct.
કારણ કે અમેરિકા ઓલું બહુ મોટું ટાઈમ ઝોન છે ને એટલે મેજર માર્કમસ ક્યાંથી છે શું છે.
Right.
કારણ કે ઘણી બધી સમર્પણ વિધિઓ થઈ ગઈ અમેરિકામાં.
The English માં બોલજો because there Laktaben and Miraben also joined.
Quite a few Samarpan Vidhis, I'm told, took place, 8, 9 maybe, all across this time. And so I assume there'll be about, even if they put 20, 200 or so new Mahatmas to nourish those people. This idea was discussed during Guru Purnima, and then that's how this is all materialized. So it's for the new people, generally speaking. India also, of course, welcome. So let us see how people respond. The idea is, after having taken Gyan, what next? 5 agnas or 5 dictates we have to practice, but how? And try to explain each agna in little more details. That is the purpose of this specific satsang.
Yeah, so Deepakan, you want to add something, but I have a question we can start with at least. Okay. So I think Lalita Ben and Rani are there. and Miraben is there. So let us start with fundamentals, Pulinanandji. What the Gnan means to us, and after Gnan, what is our things we need to start doing in pursuit of getting our spirituality on a higher level. We'll start with that and then see if the question comes up.
See, basically, the Gnan is nothing but the knowledge of the self. It is self-realization. We otherwise have been believing that I am so-and-so, whatever my name is. I am Ramesh, I am Chandu, I am Sita. And that has been our belief. So with the grace of the enlightened person, Dada Bhagwan, rather if I may say, with the grace of Dada Bhagwan's divine power, the person who gets initiated through this Gnan, he realizes who his true self is. His true self is the pure soul, which is separate from the body. In ignorant state, he identifies that he is the body. He is that name, whatever, Ram, Sita. And then he realizes after the Gnan that no, really speaking, he is pure soul or Shuddhatma. And that the name is separate. It's a separate. So having realized his true self, then second thing that happens is new karmas also cease to form because he does not remain the doer. He is the pure soul and the doership of the activities are carried out by the body. So that separation starts. The crux of the whole thing is that this self-realization, the individual has got by the grace of the Gnani Purush. It is not his self-effort. So what we say is pratiti or the belief has changed. The belief that I am not the body, I am not the name, but I am the soul. Some amount of experience also is there and some amount of awareness or jagrati has also gets initiated that I am the pure soul, I am not the body. What remains after getting initiated in this Gnan, after having realized one's own self, is to enhance that experience on a sustained basis. That is, to remain in the constant awareness that I am the pure soul. And whatever karmas that we have brought, the discharge karmas operating on the mind, body, and the speech, those karmas have to be exhausted as and when events unfold. And after all the karmas exhausted, the soul gets liberated and moksha or liberation takes place. So what we have received by way of grace is the belief has changed 100%. And now with this new belief, how do we carry out our worldly activities, our day-to-day activities, maybe at home, maybe at work? How do we square up or square off rather, or settle? How do we settle our accounts, karmic accounts with all the people whom we interact on a daily basis? And so that there are no claims pending with us. Essentially to be free from raga and dvesh, abhorrence and attachment. And also during our routine activities, our inner enemies will pop up: anger, pride, deceit, and greed. So as they pop up, we have to maintain a constant vigil, a constant awareness. Try to be separate from it and see to it that it gets exhausted. In the process of exhaustion, in case we happen to hurt somebody by speech, actions, or thought, then that has to be cleansed off by way of pratikraman or apology prayer. So, in summary, during Gnan Vidhi, we get the awareness. But then, how to maintain that awareness on a sustained basis while carrying out a work is the Purusharth. For that, Dada Bhagwan has given 5 dictates or 5 agnas. And those agnas we have to sincerely follow. But how to practice those agnas, more detailing is required. The primary understanding is given after the Gnan Vidhi, and the detailing explanation on as to which agna to use when and how in different situations, world life situations, is what is to be understood more details. The purpose of this satsang is to elaborate on those agnas, see how each new Mahatma understands the agnas more to a greater extent or more deeply, and is able to successfully practice it in his day-to-day working life. So this is the brief overview that after the initiation, one understands that he is the pure soul and not the body. And that understanding has to then materialize into 100% experience. That is, constantly he is aware that body is separate, I am separate, and he remains the observer, knower and seer, gnata and drashta of file number 1. What file number 1 is? Mind, thoughts are popping up, intellect is functioning, chit is roaming around, the speech that is coming out, and the actions that are taking place. Those are of the file number 1, or neighbor as we say. So to remain in the constant separate state, to remain in the constant vigil state of awareness is the Purusharth. The Purusharth is how we can remain separate. Vigilance, we will be there. Errors will take place. Mistakes will happen. That is, somebody will get hurt. We may get hurt. We may get disturbed, upset, angry, uncomfortable, whatever. Or even excited, happy, and engrossed in our discharge attachments. So in both events, how do we again separate out from our mind, body, speech, again get anchored in our pure soul awareness is the Purusharth. So for a new Mahatma, this will be there. How to remain anchored in the pure soul awareness. So that is the Purusharth. For that, the tools are the 5 agnas and other understandings. And of course, primarily the Vidhi, Charan Vidhi that has been given, the prayer that has been given, that is the crux. It's like a brush. Just as we do brush in the morning to cleanse the dirt in the mouth, or we take baths to cleanse the body of the dirt. Similarly, we must do this Charan Vidhi to cleanse the Jagrati, whatever dirt or impurities have got accumulated on our Jagrati. Jagrati means awareness of that I am the pure soul. So whatever things have got accumulated, karmic dirt, it's not dirt, but karmic dirt. How to cleanse it. So that is a very key element where there are primarily 2 components to it. How to cleanse the file number 1, what Shakti or prayers it asks for the moksha or liberation. And number 2, to get anchored in our true identity or self, that I am the pure soul with the following properties, like I am the pure soul, I am a source of pure knowledge, I am a source of pure understanding, Anand Gnan, Anand Darshan, Anand Shakti, immense strength, etc. So Charan Vidhi is a very crucial thing. That is something one must definitely do for progress on the moksha marg via the Akram path or the Akram way. This is the brief overview. After Gnan, what is to be done? Agnas, understanding the Agnas, understanding how to apply the Agnas, and the Charan Vidhi and the doing of the Charan Vidhi. This is the roadmap to liberation on the path of Akram Vignan.
Very good. Pulinanandji, we just posted the Charan Vidhi on our group. And before we go to the first question, Deepakanandji, Pulinanandji talked about Dada Bhagwan. Can you elaborate little bit background and who he was and what he was able to give his Gnan? And then after that, Pulinanandji, let's go on the first Agna, okay? Unless there's some question. Okay, Deepakanandji?
Hey, Sachidanand. Dada because of his Surat experience of touching absolute knowledge. And what he said, he had experienced that state of omniscient. That is the ultimate state of experience, which lasted for an hour. And because of the disturbing time of Kali Yuga, it settled at the level of absolute vision. So his experience was of absolute knowledge, but it could not sustain the present time situation. So it settled at absolute vision. What it meant that because of his state of absolute vision, he became world observer, world observatory, what he used to
Lost. Deepakanji, we lost you. Deepakanji. Okay, I think his connection is bad. Pulinanandji, you can continue and then we'll see after that if there's any question, or we'll go to first argument.
Yeah, so basically he got enlightened.
He's back. Deepakanji?
Unmute.
We cannot hear you. Unmute.
You did not hear that?
Yeah. No, because and there's echo coming. Is there another nearby? Somebody's on there, but because there's echo coming in you.
Is it on? Let me see. Hello?
Okay.
It's okay.
Is it still echo is coming?
Yes.
Echo? I'm not getting echo.
No, you're not going to just me.
No, I'm not. I hear the voice clear.
Okay, go ahead, Deepakanji.
Okay, so because of his experience state, he was able to pass on the same experience to anybody who wanted to experience his pure soul state. And the outcome of that was he started imparting the knowledge of self. And what used to happen is during the Dhyan Vidhi, what would happen is his experience of absolute knowledge became our experience. The one who participates in the Dhyan Vidhi. And because of the same Kali Yuga time, it doesn't remain there. But for us, it falls down to the level of, as it is explained by him, like third or fourth stage.
His net is bad.
That is one attains, that is, and on the real side, we are in the first step of 12th state, where Dada was in the second state of perfect experience. And on the first day, it ultimately settles down to a situation wherein one wins over his
Deepakanji, your connection is not good.
Before sleeping, before going to bed.
It is not good. We are mere.
the name bearer, sleeps, and that inner state ultimately opens next day with the vision working through two viewpoints. And then the seeker's inner journey starts, wherein through Dada's grace, he has attained his self-knowledge. And what remains, because he said, we all our worldly relational account. So he was in the second state of experience, that is 12th state, second step. That is perfect experience without any obstruction. Whereas the seekers who got knowledge from him were in the first step, where they were having obstruction, and that's how these recipients used to say. Pulinanandji, can you hear it clearly?
No, you are breaking up.
On and off, voice is going away.
Anyway, so the inner journey starts, and through following the 5 dictates, 5 agna, and through the 5 agna following, the seeker gets away with his relational accounts gradually, and he has said in matter of 2 or 3 or 5 lives, one attains absolute knowledge by getting birth in Mahavedic Kshetra, having darshan, having direct vision, direct sight of Sivananda Swami, the present Tirthankara, and the maximum number of lives after acquiring such knowledge is 15 lives, but one doesn't have 16th life. So this is how the journey becomes, and becomes very easy. One doesn't leave his family, he lives with his family, and all karmic give and take accounts through Dada's dictates. He settles amicably, and that's how he progresses in the path of liberation. Jai Satchidanand.
So thank you very much. So Shailaben is here. Shailaben, is it okay your question, or we can ask Pulinanandji to explain the first agna into detail? Okay.
Or Lalita Ben has any
input?
Lalita Ben Krishna, because she, I think, has just of late taken Gnan, and whether she has something to share, we can work on that.
Rani is also there.
Yeah, but she is a very, I think, recent, just taken Gnan in Chennai about a few months ago. Lalita ji, can you please share your experience or something you want to know? You're the, I think, really fall in the Mahatma's category.
Yes, Satchidanand. Yeah, I had a great opportunity to come across Pulinanandji in Chennai. And over so many years, I have been listening to Lalita Behan and Radha. I mean, you all call him Radhe, right?
Yes,
so, yes. Been listening to him Satsang for so many years, and the opportunity came when Pulinanandji was visiting Chennai, and I took Jnanvidhi from him. One of the things, of course, how it helps me, I should say, because one thing I have always heard from Radhe is, you have to be Sakshi, try to try not to get involved, don't open more accounts. I mean, that's something I've heard so many times. New files, new things, and don't try to, open more accounts. I may not be kind of using the right language, but the bottom line is every time telling myself, "May Shuddhatma hai," and that helps me tremendously when I get angry, when I get irritated. All the time, I tell myself it's not really worth it because these are all very relative. So that helps me. Since the time I took Jnanvidhi, that's something which is helping. And speaking to Lalita, that helps me tremendously because that little satsang what we have is something which has been extremely helpful. And I'm so happy that to be part of this group. I'm sure going through more of it and associating with people, it's going to help me.
Nice, very nice. Very nice. So that was her experience firsthand that the separation awareness has started. Then at times when she gets angry, immediately the prajna alerts her that it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Basically, the value that we attached to worldly things reduces because we realize that they are not worldly, absolutely right. They're relative, they're temporary. And having got the inner bliss, the happiness that we have attached to the external people or things, that happiness also diminishes. And once that happiness diminishes, the importance reduces, and then it is easy to let go, to forgive. The opposite of growth or anger is, as anger subsides or reduces due to this Gnan, what will happen is the capacity to forgive, what we call Kshama, that will enhance, that will increase. The first direct experience most Mahatmas experience is that they are able to forget things easily. Their anger resets reasonably fast. First, it would keep on continuing, that reduces. So that's her summary of her experience. Very good. Most of us who are already associated with this satsang of late have also experienced the same thing. So if there is nothing else, I can elaborate little on the first two agnas. The first two agnas are nothing but they go hand in hand. They go together, By relative viewpoint, I am the name bearer, whatever my name is, Ram, Sita. And by real viewpoint, I am Shuddhatma, or the pure soul. Now, it's very important that I initially had only one viewpoint, that I am the name bearer, whatever my name is. Now, because of this Gnan, I have got a second experience and a second set of understanding. The five agnas are nothing but a parallel understanding. So, after the Gnan, I've got a second understanding that I am really speaking the pure soul. So, from the real viewpoint, the absolute, the permanent, I am the pure soul. And from the relative viewpoint, or the temporary, the worldly viewpoint, I am the name bearer. Whatever interactions that I am anyway going to do, the body anyway is going to do, which is part of the discharge karmas. Those are relative or temporary, and they are not absolute. So the first two viewpoints, that by relative viewpoint, I am the name bearer. That means if someone asks me while I'm driving the car, policeman stops me for some reason and asks, who are you? I cannot say I'm pure soul. I have to say I'm the name bearer. So worldly interactions, I have to say who am I, because that is the worldly language prevalent. People understand. And truly speaking, I have to understand that no, really speaking, I'm the pure soul. And also, in the opposite person or the opposite, any living creature for that matter, within him or her resides the pure soul. The first two agnas is an eye-opener that I am the pure soul, really speaking by real viewpoint. And in the relative viewpoint, I'm the name bearer. I have to maintain two understandings, parallel understanding. Initially, I had only one understanding, the relative viewpoint. To enhance this awareness, to solidify this awareness, because this is what we have got by grace, and it has to now get converted into our own everlasting experience. So Dada used to say to all new Mahatmas that now, having received this divine vision, Divya Chakshu, as they said, wherein, through which or with the use of which you can see the pure soul in other living or living beings, you must practice it, because you have got it by divine grace. You have to practice it so that it gets ingrained into you. So what is the practice? The practice is to see Shuddhatma in everyone. So he would say that just go out for a walk. And in those days, he used to say, carry a small bag. So people will feel you have gone for shopping, but then you move around in the bazaar, go around and come back. And just keep seeing every Shuddhatma in every living being. Just keep seeing Shuddhatma, Shuddhatma, Shuddhatma and come back. So it is a practice. Like you learn the bicycle, you practice and then you become perfect. So this is a practice so that the divine vision that we have got, it becomes solid, or it strengthens or becomes strong. And I also remember one example that in those days, in the very preliminary days, when Dada used to give Gnan in Bombay, he used to tell, Chalo, Goda, but sit in a horse cart. He used to have Goda Gadi at those times, and then move around the entire street and see Shuddhatma, Shuddhatma, Shuddhatma. So, for all new Mahatmas, the exercise to strengthen the first two Agnas, relative viewpoint and real viewpoint, is to see Shuddhatma in whomsoever we meet. The relative viewpoint will operate by default. That means your son comes, your servant comes, your neighbor comes, the dog comes, you see a bird flying. Now, these eyes are anyway going to see the body form, the packing. So you will immediately say the son has come, neighbor has come, or I see this bird. But to see the Shuddhatma in that living being is the Purusharth. To practice putting the real viewpoint over there is the Purusharth. So the Purusharth to strengthen the first two Agnas is see Shuddhatma in everybody who comes in touch with you from morning to night. Make a firm resolution, Drad Nishchay, as you said, a firm resolution that I will see Shuddhatma in everyone whom I come in contact with. And it's a very firm resolution, as they say, Drad Nishchay, so that your awareness, you have an enhanced awareness on this mission of yours. To begin with, you get up, then you see the family members, then maybe you see Shuddhatma in them, then maybe you are doing some work in the kitchen and you see across the window and you see some trees, plants, or some people across the window, then see Shuddhatma in them. Then when you go out of the house, you decide that I will be going out to see Shuddhatma and doing the work, whatever you have set yourself to do. Maybe you want to buy some groceries, maybe you want to go to a bank, maybe you want to buy some medicines or meet someone, and things like that. So we have an agenda that when we go out, that I want to accomplish so many tasks or do so many things. So before you leave the house, you decide that I'm going to see Shuddhatma and will also do the work that I'm set out to do. It's just a mental flip-flop. Normally we say, I want to do so many things I go out. So those things anyway will get executed by way of Vyavasthit Shakti. Vyavasthit Shakti anyway going to do that. But you are giving extra importance to practice the second Agna of seeing Shuddhatma. Relative viewpoint, anyway by default, eyes will show the packing. So it's just a mental flip of giving extra weightage. I'm going out to see Shuddhatma and will also do the work. So what will happen is you go with an enhanced awareness, and it's of seeing Shuddhatma wherever you go, and carrying out the duties or the work that you were set out, buying groceries or doing some work in the bank or whatever, you are meeting someone, etc. So this is one more Purusharth or a technique, I would say, a tool to enhance the first two ajnas. First, making a firm resolution that come what may, I want to see maximum number of Shuddhatmas. So you grab, essentially, you will be grabbing every opportunity to see Shuddhatma. You will grab it. When you go out, when someone comes, yes, see the Shuddhatma. That is one. And when you go out, make this type of a decision. So that even while going out for some work, we have this jagrati or resolution at the back of our mind. So that the practice, it is just basically a practice. As we practice over a number of days or months, then it will become automatic. But in auto mode, you will see both of them as you move out. To come to that level of awareness, this is a practice to form up the first two elements. A firm resolution, decide when you go out to sleep, and supposing you miss out after 2-3 hours in the heat of the activities, you forget to see it. What to do? Then, in that case, sit whenever you get little time, in the afternoon, evening, night, and just see the Shuddhatma in all people whom you have interacted with. Afterwards, eyes closed, recall their faces, and just say, I bow to the pure soul within that person. It's just an exercise. So what we missed actually doing it, we are doing it later on so that it enhances our awareness for the next day. The next day, we go with a little heightened awareness. Okay, yes, I have to see. So these are 3 tools. There are some more, but I'm taking a pause in case someone has anything to ask or something. Then we'll go for some more tools.
Okay. Yeah. Deepakanji, you have any questions to add? Then we will have Shailya Ben has a question after the Deepakanji.
Hey, Satchidanand. So, with the help of the first 2 viewpoints, we will see packing, outside packing, and as separate from inside pure soul. So, like if you come across a dog, then worldview-wise, we call that as dog, and we believe, yeah, it is dog only. But through this self-realization, we come to know, and we have to start seeing dog as by relative viewpoint, it is dog, but by real viewpoint, it is pure soul. Same way, donkey is a donkey in the world view, but through self-realization, through this knowledge, you will see donkey by relative viewpoint is donkey, by real viewpoint it is pure soul. Mosquito, so all living being outside packing you will see as by relative viewpoint, and inside through the divine vision what we have acquired, we will see pure soul in everyone. In fact, we start with ourselves first, that by relative viewpoint, I am Deepakanand, by real viewpoint, I am pure soul. So it is by relative viewpoint, I am name bearer, by real viewpoint, I am pure soul. And it was said that in good times, only these 2 viewpoints, these 2 dictates were given, and people used to understand the whole science. That is, they could understand everything, the whole relative part, how it works and what we have to do and all that. But here, Dada said that we had to give 5 dictates to further elaborate and make us understand, and that's how we will be able to remain in these 2 viewpoints easily. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Shailya Ben?
Jai Satchidanand Mahatma, Jai Satchidanand Pulinanandji, Jai Satchidanand Deepakanandji. Previously, I was not able to unmute, but it's working fine now. There's, of course, after the Gyan Vidhi, I can see the big difference in I'm able to, not all the time, but yes, I'm able to observe the Namdari, the Sailya doing something, or even the reactions. So I'm trying to follow this, but of course, it doesn't happen all the time. but slowly, and I'm also doing the Charan Vidhi, and that is also, I think it's helping me a lot. But there's one thing I wanted to ask about the Pratikaman. That is when we, suppose someone says something, you're talking to a friend or someone, and and they say something and which actually you feel hurt at that moment. And then later on you decide, okay, I should do Pratikaman. Then why we still do Pratikaman in spite of, they might hurt you, but you still do it. Is it because this is an effect you owe them? That is, this is an account that you have to settle. Is that why we do the Pratikaman?
I'm trying to understand your question. That in the interaction of two people, the other person has hurt us.
Yes.
And you are asking whether we should be doing Pratikraman.
Yeah, I still do it. So
what do you do in the Pratikraman?
The Pratikraman is exactly that what is given to me. That is basically asking for forgiveness for whatever we might.
For forgiveness for?
Forgiveness. Asking for forgiveness.
For what?
For whatever I might have done in the past. That's why it is obviously, this is an effect, right? So that's why I'm having to hear this from them.
Okay, now
is that how I should view this?
You see, the Pratikraman means, in very loose and very layman language, it's a soap for cleansing misdeeds or hurts that we cause to someone. We cause to someone. That means in that interaction with you and your friend, if you happen to speak or do something which has hurt the other person, you will be doing the Pratikraman. Now, that your concept is right. If the other person has hurt you, now that is the result of some error or mistake you have done in the past with someone. Maybe that person, maybe someone else. Okay. Now, this understanding you have to keep with you so that you are able to gracefully accept the hurt that has come to you. In order that you may accept the hurt gracefully and not feel bad about it and feel like retaliating, taking revenge. This understanding will help you. Okay, you have done something wrong because of which you have received this hurt. So just accept it and keep it aside. Clear the account. So this is an understanding you have to keep. You need not do Pratikraman.
Okay.
In such small events, Pratikraman are not necessary. Pratikraman is done when there is Atikraman. Atikraman means we have hurt someone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
Now, one step ahead, when this thing happens on a sustained basis with closed files or sticky files, that someone is going hammer and tongs after you, hurting you, abusing you, or in spite of you being very straightforward, proper response, but they are just sort of hurting you, getting angry at you, taunting you, whatever. Especially it happens very close friends. You don't want to hurt, you are straightforward, but that it is one-sided bombardment that comes from the other person to you. In that case, this same understanding does remain that we have committed some grave mistake, a very, very sticky, grave mistake, because of which we are getting a sustained hurt in spite of we being non-violent or non-hurting approach. Now, when we come to know of this is an example in some sticky files, it's not an everyday routine affair. Here, you may do the Pratikraman that you are doing. That I have hurt or made some mistake or caused some hurt to someone, either to this person or to some other person, either in this birth or some previous life births. And so, either in the, I have caused some hurt, because of which I am receiving this one-sided bombardment or hurt. Hence, I apologize for that mistake, which I may have done out of Rag, Dvesh, Vishay, Kasha. These are the words given by Dada Bhagwan. Kasha means Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobh, anger, pride, deceit, and greed, attachment, abhorrence, Rag, Dvesh, and Vishay, that's this thing, lust. So, because of any of these karmas. I may have caused someone to hurt, or even motivated someone to hurt, or supported someone hurting in this birth or the previous birth. I repent for that. I apologize and resolve not to repeat. Now, this is a general pratikrama for a cause which you don't know. Apparently, nothing is done in this birth. You are straightforward, yet you are receiving hurt or an uncomfortable behavior, if I can put it. So it is a cause of some grave thing done in the past, this birth or previous birth, which you are not aware of.
No.
So in such instances, you do a pratikraman for some errors which you have done, which has resulted in this hurt coming to you. So in those cases, there is a sustained one-side affair, or for which you may not know the cause. There we do this type of practice. For routine affairs in day-to-day interaction, you say hi, hello, and then she says she doesn't look at you, and then say theek hai, and all such things. So those are small miscellaneous things. Yes, that is true. You have done something, so this has come to you. So understand this has come to you, accept it and forget it. But if it is something in between, that it is your nice relative or nice friend, and then she's mad at you for some reason. She was earlier good with you, talking nicely to you, and off late you find that she is not on very good talking terms with you, or her behavior with you has changed for some reason. Then you can immediately sense that something has happened by me, by which that person is put off. So here again you can do what you are doing. You are not able to recall why is she put off. Yes. What wrong have I done? She was my best friend or a good relative, and you're all goody, and all of a sudden she is frowning and not speaking well with me. Means she has hurt by me, or someone has put poison in her ears. Someone has given some viewpoint that Saila Ben was talking like this to you. Something has happened. In such instances where you feel, okay, earlier it was good and now it is, that means something happened in this birth. That's for sure. There again, you can do what you're doing. Then knowingly or unknowingly, whatever hurt I may have caused by my mind, the speech or actions, I apologize for it. And that will have a proper and soothing effect. It will erase the hurt that has come to her. It will get erased from her mind. And again, she will be talking properly or behaving properly with you. So what you're doing is right. I'm only trying to elaborate where it is required, where it is not required.
Yes.
What you're doing is right. Yeah? So because what you're doing is, you are apologizing for something you don't know. So you must know where this tool is to be used.
Yes, exactly.
Where we know the hurt we have caused by speech or actions, then we can immediately do it. Yes, I'm sorry. There is the plain and simple pratikraman to be used. But you are doing for unknown hurt caused by you. So where you can see a change in the behavior in this life work, then you can do this type of a general pratikraman. And if it's a one-sided constant bombarding, typically mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, or two bhabis, two sister-in-laws, so, or father and son also, for that matter, too. So where it's one-sided constant, then it is short previous birth, and then you can do the same thing for the previous birth. So this tool, with this perspective, where to use, how to use, is this option to share. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You want to add something?
Yeah, just a quick answer. The idea of doing pratikraman in such cases is what Dada has elaborated, that a mistake was committed by us in the past, due to which someone had to become an instrument to repay me back. So by doing pratikraman, you are ensuring that you will never commit such mistakes ever again, so that someone have to become instrument to repay me back. Is that clear?
Yes.
Someone had to become instrument, and when one becomes instrument, he's an instrument for me. But he is taking the burden of new karma by hurting me, by repaying me back. So this was the understanding given by Dada Bhagwan why we need to do, why you need to do pratikraman if someone hurt you, right? So in future, when I don't commit any mistake, no one has to take the burden of building new karma to relieve me from my karma.
Yeah, got it.
Jai Satchidanand.
Yes.
I don't know whether you got the very subtle point. This is a little higher order of pratikraman, which is not very frequently spoken. That means I have done something, and then someone has become upset on me, or I have not something, but someone is upset on me. Then I apologize, one, for the mistake I have done. Number two, the other person has become upset or has become angry. Who's care of my account? You know, the person is angry so that I'm hurt. Now, that person has to become angry to care of my account. So he is hurting himself.
Himself, yes. He is creating new this thing.
So I apologize for that thing where he has to, do this thing, wrongdoing, to clear my account. So I am sorry for the trouble that person has to take. The injury is causing to himself for clearing my account. It's a very subtle type of pratikrama.
It's very deep. Yes, very profound. Deep. Yes.
Very subtle, very subtle. He apologized for the hurt that other person has got. He's upset.
Yes.
He is upset for himself and his new karmas are formed. Maybe. So I apologize for the hurt he has got caused because of he being the nimit to clear my account.
So this is very good, because we are usually always we talk about karma in Hindu dharma.
We got first order cause and effect. This is the second order cause effect.
Yes, this is very deep. Yes.
A very, very subtle point. Very subtle.
Yeah, that cleared my question about the pratikraman. I understand the difference. There's one more thing. When suppose someone approaches you and they have been approaching suppose you're a good listener and people, they unload everything. So previously, you'd be like, okay, now I understand that, okay, there are many, these are the accounts that we have come to settle. So you listen, but then if it becomes like a daily or, frequent thing, and then it sort of drains you, how do you explain that? And how do you protect your, I shouldn't say the energy or whatever. You don't want to be dragged into their, daily problems or whatever. Because I want to I try to keep my conversations to a minimum. Don't talk as much as I try to talk less.
Yeah, that is true. I can understand. As you said, you become a sounding board. You become a sounding board for them to unload.
Yes, I've always had this problem. Yes.
And that is also a type of suffering, Bhagwata. That you have come across a person who is unloading his or all things, and you are the person who has to bear it.
Yes.
It is a type of subtle suffering. So it's a type of suffering. First thing, understand it is a type of suffering, number one. Number two, what we should do is we have to use the practice, the fourth agna over there, which will come later down. That, hey, Dada Bhagwan, this file has arisen. Give me the strength to settle it equanimously. So that you don't get irritated. And you adopt a little cool stance. You're able to get some patience. You become a little patient, and you're listening. But then you can become a little superfluous listener. You can also see the Shuddhatma in the opposite person when such a thing is taking place. The person is going yap, 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 and you are just listening. And first thing, to stop your irritation, that I'm just a sounding board for her to unload all her these things, emotions. You have to say the file has arisen, may I square it economically. So you are also not hurt, he or she is not hurt. And so that your disturbance, inner, the intellect, arey yaar, what's happening? That is subsides. And that you remain in an equanimous position. see the Shuddhatma in the other person also. You know? And just be a patient listener. See the Shuddhatma. If necessary, talk to Saila Ben. Chalo file aaye. File has come. Square up. Take it easy. And if you keep seeing Shuddhatma and file, Shuddhatma, hey Dada Bhagwan, file has arisen, Shuddhatma. What will happen? It will have an effect on the other person also. And it will taper down.
Got it.
What would have taken 10-15 minutes of emotional outburst will then taper down in 5 minutes.
Okay.
And you will remain equanimous.
It won't affect.
This is the tool to use. And then, so this is over. It has become a routine affair. Every 2-3 days such thing happens. Then when you are free, when this interaction is not there, at those times you can pause moments. You can pray. Hey Dada Bhagwan, give me the strength to equanimously settle this file. Hey Dada Bhagwan, bless the other person so that he or she is away from the suffering. You know, it means pray for the goodwill of the other person. So it's a positive energy you're emitting. This was a defense mechanism when the person goes yap. Now this is when the person is not there. It's a positive approach. Pray for the goodwill of the person, give you the strength to settle. So you are mentally prepared and your account also gets diluted. And over a period of time, that thing will reduce. Or even if it doesn't reduce, you have the inner stamina to face that situation.
Perfect. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Jai Sachidanand.
To that? No? You want to add to that?
Yeah. Just a moment. Just a moment. It is like the way Dada has said, the world is your reflection. Whatever has gone out of Shaila previously, it is coming back to Shaila now. So that is how it is coming to you. And when it comes to you, don't you pass through a kind of suffering? You have to spend your time, give your time, and also with whatever gets bombarded to you, that is Shaila, she has to pass through that suffering. So understand that had gone from here and it is returning back. So accept it. Accept it. And understand that you will not repeat such things ever again, that it comes back to you again. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Got it.
You know, Pulinanandji, there is a standard padikrama and prayer that you could say when we are doing pratikram and doing pratyakhan. So is that given to them?
We have given.
Okay. I think
it was given during Gyan Vidhi, particularly. And that's the one, the Vidhi was given to us, and that's what I say.
Okay. You have that pratikram?
Yes, I do.
Read it, please.
It says, Pratyaksh Dada Bhagwan ki Sakshi mein, I'm reading it in Hindi. Dehdara, this is where the person's name comes. Ke man vachan kaya ke yog bhav karm dravya karm no karm se bin ऐसे हे प्रकट शुद्धात्मा भगवान आज दिन की अध्यक्षन पर्यंत जो दोष whatever दोष was there you mention it here and मुझसे हुए हैं उनकी मैं क्षमा याचना करता हूँ प्रायश्चित करता हूँ आलोचना प्रतिक्रमण प्रत्याख्यान करता हूँ मुझे क्षमा करें और पुनः ऐसे दोष मुझसे कभी भी ना हो ऐसा दृढ़ निश्चय करता हूँ हे दादा भगवान मुझे शक्ति दें Jai Sachidanand.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I just want to reiterate that. Any comment on that, Pulinanandji?
Is it
this is perfect. This is the standard thing which is there from Dada Bhagwan's days. And it's correct. It's perfect. Carry on. The essence of Pratikraman is basically we are apologizing for our mistakes, number one, to God. Now, which God? So for us, it is Dada Bhagwan. For a layman, it could be his spiritual God, whomsoever he believes in. So basically, we are apologizing in front of God. That is Dada Bhagwan, and the pure soul within the opposite person. In terms of two gods, we are confessing. First thing is that confessing the errors that we have done by mind or by speech or by thought. That is alochna. Then we repent for it. That is pratikon. I'm sorry. And third thing, I resolve not to repeat the mistake. That is called pratyakya. So these are three key components by which the pap or sin gets dissolved or erased. This is the gist or summary of the pratikrama, the mechanism of how it works. Basically, we repent. This ego repents for the hurt this ego has caused to the opposite person's ego. So it squares up the count. That is the subtle mechanism of behind pratikrama. I think it's fine.
Yes, I think it is very,
what we could do is yes. Yeah.
It works very powerful.
Yeah, it is very effective because it's very scientific. It's extremely scientific. So now that we are approaching our time, I have a suggestion that maybe we leave this homework for the group, that for the full coming week, everybody practice the first two ajnas, essentially seeing Shuddhatma in each and every person that comes in your contact. It's a target, whatever happens. I mean, it's not to be taken literally, but a firm resolution to see maximum number of Shuddhatma, to firm up the first two viewpoints, basically. So everybody please practice this for 1 week. And let us review what is the thing, where you have found difficulties in implementing this two ajnas, under which set of circumstances you forget to see Shuddhatma, and we could offer solutions for those situations in the next week. That is my suggestion. Anything, Deepakanandji?
Okay, Miraben, Lalita Ben, Rani, you have any comment? Or any suggestion?
Jai Satchidanand, no, not at this time. Next week, definitely.
Okay, sounds good. Rani?
Rani? None for me. I'm just going to, I think all of these foundational things are good. Just speaking from somebody who's been part of Satsang, I think this is one really good way to keep that effort going, like the sustainment. You know, I think being able to review foundations in any field that we do, we always benefit from reviewing the basic tenets. So I really appreciate being able to be a part even of this English satsang. Thank you.
Very good. Lalita Ben, any comment?
No, it's excellent. I mean, it's a small group, but I think everything you went through was, you know, even in this subtle points came out in that pratikraman, how you have to apologize to the person who's accumulating karmas. That's something I might have missed in other satsangs. So this clarity was good.
Yeah, which I agree with you. Deepakanandji, you have any comment?
Yeah, so for the next 1 week, we will all practice to see with two viewpoints, relative viewpoint, the name bearer, the packing, and inside by real viewpoint, the person, the living form is pure soul. And whenever we come across any difficulty in being in this two viewpoint or seeing through this two viewpoint, please come forward and we'll have a good satsang once again. Jai Satchidanand.
Thank you. Can you do mantra, please, everybody follow? Deepakanandji.
Yeah. Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Harihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vatsayanam.
Namo Vatsayanam.
Namo Loe Savasahunam.
Namo Loe Savasahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Savvapavappanasano.
Savvapavappanasano.
Mangalanam cha savvesim.
Mangalanam cha savvesim.
Paramam havai mangalam.
Padamam have mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Jai
Satchidanand, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday with your experiences. Okay. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai
Jai
Satchidanand.
Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand, everybody.
Jai
Rani, Jai Satchidanand, Dr. Lalita Ben, Jai
Jai
Satchidanand,
Satchidanand.
Shailya Ben, Jai Satchidanand,
Jai
Ramya
Satchidanand.
Deepakanandji, Jai Satchidanand,
Jai
Jai
Satchidanand.
Satchidanand, Lalita Ben,
Jai Satchidanand, Mineshwar, Jai Satchidanand, Meera, Jai Satchidanand, Dr. Nina Ben.